I'm going to write a book one day called Perception is Reality. And the main concept is this: we are the stories that we tell about ourselves. So, what story do you tell yourself about who you are? That's who you are, right? And then you share that story with other people. And so maybe if you don't even know what story you're sharing with yourself, you can hear or listen into the conversations that you have with other people. Oh yeah, I'm just a college student, or I'm just trying to go for this goal. I'm a dreamer. I'm whatever it is. Subtle shifts in these words change who you are and how people interact with you, and it will ultimately change your life, right? And so I'll write that book down the road, but as a way to kind of start preparing for that, I have to start writing and get better, and I have to change my own image. Who am I? And so recently I acted on one of my long-term dreams of applying to Harvard and seeing if I can go to school there, right? And I have already applied once and I got denied. And so this is the second time that I've tried. And this is one of the essays that I wrote. And I challenge you to go out there and write a similar essay on who you are. What is the story of who you are? This is the story of Wyatt Moss. So write the story of who you are, right? Let me read it out to you. I'm made of Damascus steel. I've been thrown in the fire. So many different layers, so many stories to inquire. I'm a philosophical sommelier, a community cultivator, a dreamer and a doer, a culture translator. I'm an unleasher of human potential, both a connector and a maven, a life force of energy, a confidant, a safe haven. I'm a lexicon of Greek proportion, a mosaic of nationwide appeal, a catalyst for change, a purveyor of all things surreal. I'm an innovative thinker. I welcome the unknown. I'm a compliment to a team, a friend to the lone. I'm a wealth of knowledge, so take it to the bank. If there's a conversation to be had, I'll be within its ranks. I'm a quintessential creative. If my ideas fly over your head, they'll land right beside you and complement the words you just said. I won't just turn the page after it's published. I'll exchange the words as they're written. I'll be a vendor in the marketplace. I'll be a vendor in the idea marketplace from Malaysia to Britain. There will be students who are smarter, more interesting, better at this, that, and the other. I'll support them in any way I can. I'll be Harvard's older brother. I said that last part because if I did get accepted this year, I would be 3 or 4 years older than most of my peers, most of the people that were in my grade, right? So the question is, Harvard has long recognized the importance of enrolling a diverse student body. How will the life experiences that shape who you are today enable you to contribute to Harvard? I didn't want to try to sell myself on some of the things I've done, like the 50 States in 50 Days trip, in this essay, because I had already written about it in one of the other essays that I wrote. So I decided I'm just going to tell them who I am. This is the story that I tell about myself, to myself, right? This is who Wyatt Moss is. And, writing that and repeating it in my head this past 4 or 5 days, because I only wrote it less than a week ago, has absolutely changed my life. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And just absolutely changed the way I think, absolutely changed the way how I act. I'm going out there to go work on a woodworking project, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not just a woodworker. I am an adventure traveler. I'm a creative. I'm a guy who has a dream. I'm a guy who's going to act on that dream. I'm a leader. I'm a changer, a culture changer, a culture translator, a community cultivator. I'm all these things, right? And I'm going out to build a table to support that story, to continue that story, so that I'll be able to tell more stories about myself using the proceeds from building this table. I'm not just a woodworker. I'm so much more. And yeah, it had a nice rhyme to it too. I didn't mean for it to be a poem at first, and then I was like, might as well. But I challenge you to go out there and write an essay. It took me an hour to write this thing, right? Maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it takes you 5, who knows? But if you are able to write it down, you can start repeating that story in your head. This line has been stuck in my head constantly. And most of these words, philosophical sommelier, I just wrote that down because it sounded nice. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds kind of nice. It's okay, philosophical sommelier. Sommelier is someone who knows and tastes all different types of wine. Philosophical, the love of knowledge. I'm just someone who goes around and knows a bunch of different areas very well. I taste these different areas, right? Philosophical sommelier. Just come up with something like that. But this one line, like, I'm trying to get better at speaking. I'm trying to get more articulate. I'm trying to have a broad vocabulary when I speak, right? To be more concise and more descriptive. So this one line is rewriting that story for myself about who I am. I'm no longer a college dropout. I'm no longer some guy who did bad on the English portion of the SAT, right? This is who I am. I'm a lexicon of Greek proportion, a mosaic of nationwide appeal, a catalyst for change, a purveyor of all things surreal. That's who I am. And that line has been running through my head. A lexicon is a collection of words of Greek proportion. Greece was like the center of information for so long. And like being a lexicon of Greek proportion, that gives me a new thing that I have to live up to. There's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'll leave you with this. In the book, they say that some of the greatest things you could do to how to win friends and influence people. I think that's what I said, but if not, that's the title of the book. Their name is the most important thing to them, is one of the concepts of the book. And so I've made it a habit to start remembering people's names, right? Kobe did this as well. If you were some insignificant, quote unquote, person, it does not matter. He still remembered your name because he knew that when his trainer was talking to him, this is like a story that, got passed down from Kobe. But may he rest in peace. The story is this is what Kobe was saying to his trainer. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just whoever I meet will carry that image of Kobe to their surrounding. So I need to make sure that whoever they are, they know that I care about them. It was something along those lines. That's not the point of all this. I don't want to get sidetracked. The point is that when you're trying to influence people, give them a reputation to live up to. Well, if you're trying to influence yourself, give yourself a reputation to live up to, right? If I tell myself, okay, I'm a lexicon of Greek proportion, that's a pretty big thing. I've just set the standard high. Now I've got to go out there and I've got to learn new vocabulary words to spice up my speeches. I've got to go out there and read books to become more articulate, to think better, more clearly. I've got to learn how to speak better. If I say that I'm a wealth of knowledge, I have to go out there and start learning about all these different things, right? I've got to be curious in other people. If I'm a community cultivator, I got to go out there and actually build up communities, which is what I'm trying to do with Whisper, this nonprofit that I'm working with, which we're trying to build community in high schools. If I'm a catalyst for change, I got to find a problem and actually go out there and try to solve it, right? A purveyor of all things surreal. That one is what I'm doing with YouTube. I want to be thrown out, or just anything that I do, really. But with YouTube, I want to be throwing out the craziest videos you've ever seen, right? So go out there and write down the story of who you are in 2 clear and concise paragraphs. 8 sentences is all it takes, really. It doesn't even have to be like a good structure. It can literally just be, I'm a blank. I'm a blank. I'm a blank. I'm a blank. Just do that. And it will be something that you can, and make it better than what you actually think you are. Give yourself a little bit of room to work towards in this speech of who you are. You don't want to say that you're just a woodworker. You want to say that you're the most prominent woodworker in the Southeast, right? And so if I say that, that gives me a big reputation to live up to. I got to go out there and I got to figure out, okay, what is something unique that I can do that's different than what everyone else is doing? How can I be creative? How can I use my mind to separate myself from everyone else, right? Write down an essay, repeat it in your head, carry it with you, and use it as a source of strength, a source of confidence. It will change your life in the same way that it has changed mine this past couple of days, and will continue to change my life for the rest of my life. But this is ultimately an advertisement for my book. So Perception is Reality, coming to you January 2057. Why not us?